we're gonna do some mini dungeons. Yeah, we'll tie some mini dungeons. We're gonna articulate them. I got the idea. I saw some pictures, and a person tied them really well. They were good because they were sparse. He had a trailing hook, and just one hook. He had the hook on the back. I'm thinking though, the articulation, one articulation, and I think the articulation is gonna be on the back, and I'm gonna keep the hook on the front. I have one issue. My issue is I don't have any dumbbell eyes, or I don't have a lot of dumbbell eyes I can look for right now. So I'm gonna try to incorporate a tungsten bead into the fly, still keeping it sparse, still using like the traditional style for the head. So this will be an experiment. I don't know what the end result will be, but I'm excited to find out. So we'll do a mini dungeon, some mini dungeons. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun one. We'll go ahead and thread our bobbin. I'm going to go with the bright orange thread. Just add some characters. And then we've got to get our hooks. Some smaller hooks. Need that, some Flashabou. Okay, this is a good size hook. And we will start with the articulation actually. Need some wire for the articulation. The standard 0.8 will be good for our wire. I had a coil of the 0.8. Need to find it here. I think this will be good for our hackle. We've got some nice webby hackles that I think will be good for the hackled portion. The other materials, marabou, we'll use some marabou, and then this wire is too thick. Where's the 0.8? Can't find the wire, we're out of luck. But it should be here somewhere. got a few shanks we pre-made. We might just use those pre-made shanks. Here's a little section of wire. We'll have to straighten this out. Straighten this wire out. I'm gonna double it over and then pinch the back closed. Try to flatten out that body section. Flatten it out. We're gonna bring this end around. And we'll close, we'll shorten this end. Trim that down a bit. And then we'll close this end. That's a pretty rough shank, but it'll work. Hopefully we find our wire soon. The shank will tie in flat like this. And then we'll rotate that around. The end of the shank doesn't really matter as long as we have one point that can tie in. So I think that's what we got. Not perfect. Oops. Not perfect, but good enough. And then it'll be matched on our hook. So the total length will be about 2.5 inches, which is a nice size for a mini streamer. We'll coat the shank with our thread. This will help us with the stabilities. Our tie-in needs to rotate that. That's good. That'll be our connecting loop right there. Coat our shank. We need a tail, marble tail. We'll do white for this one and maybe switch up the colors as we go. You could to the tip, tie in the tip, but I think that's a little bit heavy. I think sparse is the name of the game here for this pattern. So I'm gonna trim out a side of it carefully. Then we can add to it. I'm gonna wet my finger just a bit and grab the butts. And then that is what we're looking for our tail. Then we'll tie it in. And then we lost some, so we'll add a little bit more. That's good. Tie that in. The traditional dungeon has a palmered hackle, but for this mini, we're gonna skip that. And instead, we're going to wrap some Mylar around the body. For our Mylar, we can use, you could do that pink that we had, but I'm gonna go with this kind of opal pearlescent. Get some strays from our strand, and then we can tie these in, just a bunch of them, then tie them back. And then we can wrap the Mylar around our body. We're getting a little messy. We're getting a lot messy. What the heck? I don't know how this guy ended up all the way over here. There we go. All right, let's be careful. Wrapping. Kind of going back over it to get full coverage. It's not covering great. I'm somehow losing strands as I go. Not a huge deal because we're gonna coat this. All right. Let's go ahead, tie it off, clip it out rather. How the heck did this guy get all the way down here? Okay. Let's whip. And whip. And then we're gonna coat that in resin. You could use a UV resin, but I like just using the nail polish. Alrighty. Let's make sure that tail doesn't flop onto our resin. And then we can clip this and let it dry. While this is drying, we can start another shank. again, here, this one's pre-made. This would be like a commercial operation. And get our thread started. And this end of the metal is quite sharp, so you gotta cover that. Add some marble for the tail. Since we trimmed off both sides of that feather, you could tie in the tip section here, and that will be fine. Okay, pearl mylar. Let's go lighter on the mylar this time. Last time was a little bit of a headache. Hopefully that gives us enough to cover. Wrap it up. With it. And then coat it. Right. Our first one is nearly set. I think we can start tying. Probably a little premature. Clip that one. And then we'll get our hook. So we will use monofilament to connect it. Oh, we have to add our weight. So I was gonna do 4 mil tungsten bead. Maybe a 5 mil. Or I'm sorry, a 3.8. And we're gonna try to set it right in the middle, toward a little bit further toward the head. And we will use some of our monofilament to do that. Small piece. Little thread base here. Tying our mono. Maybe try to place it under. Under or over. I think if it's over, it's still gonna ride hook point down. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. So we'll do over. And draw it in. Maybe under. I'm worried about the hook gap. If we put the hook at the back, this wouldn't matter. Well, let's just we'll ride with this. Ride with this. And then we need another piece of monofilament. And double this up. To attach our articulation. Ooh, it's still wet. She's still wet. Trim that off. Everything gets super glue. This bead is rolling around a little bit, but it's not going all the way down. So I think it's okay. Now for this, we're gonna do I think we can keep the orange in. Do I do another? I think we just do palmered body rubber legs, marble wing, and then maybe some coarser dubbing for the head. So we won't use deer hair, spun hair. We'll use some kind of coarser dubbing for the head. And maybe we use some kind of material for our body as well. Ice dub. Ice dub. Ice dub. I see olive, but I think I want pearl, which I'm not seeing. We've got, this is not ice dub, this is just like a flash, silver flash, but we can turn this into dubbing. Wrap it around the thread. Even if it's loose, it's good. And then we'll dub our body. Rudimentary. Let's wrap our hackle. Let's tie in our rubber. Check the condition of our rubber. It's pretty old, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that too much rubber? Yeah, let's do 3 on each side. Whoa, where are you going? On each side. Tighten that down a little bit more. Marbu wing. I'm thinking white and then olive over. That's what I'm thinking. So white and then a little bit of olive over. Just so there's some color variation. There's enough material. I'm not worried about that. I'd like a little bit of color variation. Olive over the top, come on. Got our rubber legs in there. We got our articulated tail. We could try with a spun head, but I'm thinking wool. Wool will work just as well. A lot of sculpin patterns have wool heads. I'm going to pull out some yellows, and then maybe some a little bit of black. Then add some of this green, a little piece of this green. So this is some synthetic flash material. We've got black wool, yellow wool, synthetic flash, and then I want a softer flash. A pinch of this, and I'm going to blend this all together. I don't want to rip it, I want to keep it nice and long. But get rid of some of these clumps of yellow. We don't want the clumps of yellow. Okay, and then we will I want to be cognizant, like if I do it 50-50, the material is going to dominate the fly. So the back end, I want to keep it short. We're going to trim out a lot of this, but I want to keep the back end short. But my goal, why we chose the wool, is we're going to try to cover that bead. I'll advance the thread. And then we'll add another veil. Big clump of yellow. Okay. Now we will whip it. Trapped some material in our whip. That's okay. And then we will pick it. we still might not be able to cover the bead. Pull some of the excess. How are we looking? And then I'm gonna sharpen my scissors a little bit, cutting some tin foil. This is not a very permanent way to sharpen your scissors. I'm just gonna go around the face of this head. Then I'll brush that away. Come back around. Brush it away. We don't want to chop our hackles. Okay. It's a little sparse on this side. This side is covered better. Not the end of the world. Now we will take our eyes and do a drop on this side high. Drop in our eye. Let it set. I want it to set all the way through. Maybe should have added more glue. There it goes. Then on our sparse side, drop some glue, set our eye. Can clean up this bottom. Nah. In my head, this seemed a lot better. But not a terrible result. I think it'd work. Where's the other rubber leg? I see two legs on this side. Oh, it's up here, it's high. Yeah, so three legs. Got our wing. We got our tail. And then our lacquered body. So next one, the head, I think we have to do more, try to build up that head a little bit more. Funny looking fly. Dare we try again? But we have no dumbbell eyes, and we created a dungeon type pattern. The palmered hackle body is almost, it's a little bit pointless. I don't even, yeah, maybe we skip that for the next one. That might work. It certainly will be, you could cast this on a 4-weight, no problem. 3-weight, probably no problem. So a little dainty trout streamer is what we got. The head color, the body color, maybe using like a olive pearl would be better, or a white head would be better. But dark head's fine to me. I don't mind that. Maybe all olive marabou would be better. I don't know. Let's try again. Alrighty. Our second tail is set. Let's get our second hook in. Let's do a little bit heavier bead. Piece of mono. Maybe we put the bead further back. Yeah, let's try that. Put the bead further back. Because the palmered hackle really wasn't doing much. Here's the articulation. Draw it nice and tight. And then if the bead is further back, we can build up a deer hair head. More classic dungeon. Drop our glue. This toothpick's got quite the curve. Quite the curve to it. What do we need? The dubbing. Instead of wrapping the dubbing, we'll tie it in. No, we can use our extra fur that we blended. And we'll push that back. Pick that out. Maybe we should have gone lighter on the fur. Only time will tell. Get some marabou for our wing. Tying our wing. Little olive on top. Need olive is leaning on one side, not on the other. Kind of even that out a little bit. All right. Thin out that dubbing wing. And tying a bunch of white on the bottom. And then we'll do olive on top. We're trying to cover that bead. Yeah, my wrap was not very good here. There we go, better. Advance the thread. I'm going to use this clump of white again. This is all going to get trimmed out. A little slight pack. That white is starting to travel. gonna start with the belly. Just going for shape right now. We'll hit the sides. Over the top. I don't think we hit the bead. And the bead is a little bit visible. So my experiment failed. Bring this down a little bit more, not too much. Now we'll start pulling the strays. Not too many strays. Keeping some tips. Oh, we forgot rubber legs, what? But it doesn't need rubber legs. A fly this size doesn't need rubber legs. I think might need to burn out the hair. There's a few little hairs covering the eye of the hook that we could burn out. Press it, press it. I'm checking with. At our eyes. Oversized eyes or regular sized eyes? So that is the question. Maybe yellowies. Do some yellowies. Second dungeon. There's like a bead is here. There's a kind of a gap between the wing and the head. There's not much we can do about that. But it'll work. Here, this was version 1 and version 2. Or the heads are different. One is a dubbing head, and then one is a deer hair head. Obviously, the deer hair head looks better. There's no question about that. No question about that. All right. Let's get a better view of these little dungeons. Muddy waters, I love it. Hello. Key point, no material on the articulation. Just some wrapped material with the tail. And I think if you're tying a smaller dungeon pattern, bigger dungeon pattern, obviously you'd want to wrap that palmered hackle. But I think it'll be fine without any. So it's just like tail head. We tried to do a palmered hackle here, and maybe over time that can swoop back. We put a bead, this is a 3.8 millimeter bead, tungsten bead up top. And then this one is a 4 millimeter slotted tungsten bead tied in to give it weight. But yeah, they'll work. Not pretty, but they'll work. Alrighty, that's it. Bye-bye.